Talkers, episode 247 of the Bitch Talk podcast. This is Erin. Angie's here.
Hi.
Don't forget to go and look at our beautiful, shiny website. It's bitchtalkpodcast.com. Follow us on Twitter at Bitch Talk Pod, Facebook, Bitch Talk Podcast, Instagram, Bitch Talk Podcast, one word, or just shoot us a little email at therealbtpod@gmail.com. This last weekend was the Women's March across the country and in other countries, I believe. And Angie and I went, and it was fantastic. And we had press passes.
We felt real special.
We were real special.
Professional.
But not overly prepared, which now we will be from now on when we get press passes to such things. Anyways, our friend Sophia Andary was one of the speakers, and she is one of the organizers of Women's March Bay Area. And I invited her back on the show because why not? We can recap how she felt about it since she's an organizer, what else they need to or want to promote for the rest of the year, and take a listen to our interview. Sophia Andary, we experienced a very moving event this past weekend called the Women's March, or also Bay Area Women's March. Thank you for putting that on all by yourself. It was amazing. No, I'm just kidding. I know there was a huge team there.
By myself.
No, I know. No. I'm kidding. But it was really amazing.
It was really, and thank you. I don't know who you spoke to, but the weather was perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you for that as well. It couldn't have been better, I think.
I kept on asking Martha, who's Women's March San Francisco communications lead. I was like, you need to make this happen, and she did. So we got to thank Martha for that one.
Yeah, thanks for the weather, Martha.
She did the sun dance.
She did.
Well, speaking of which, the opening blessing that was given by her name was Canyon Sayers Roots. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes.
The opening blessing was so moving, so touching. She chanted, and there was a lineup of Indigenous women with their fists in the air, and it was just really, really powerful way to start it off.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely wanted to start off with our Native American community, who, as she stated from the beginning, this is their land.
Ohlone land, yeah.
Ohlone land, and we are guests here. So we really wanted to make sure that we have them start off the Women's March San Francisco rally. So we were very honored that they accepted the invite and came.
Yeah, and I guess my follow-up question to that is, how do you choose your speakers? Do they come to you? Do you go to them? I mean, you had a really great,
well-rounded
and very diverse speakers on the stage.
It definitely was not easy, right? Because of course, when people know that you're doing a rally, and because it's Women's March, so they were basing it on last year, how large of a scope it was, we definitely had a lot of people come to us being like, hey, I would love to be a speaker, and I'm from this organization. We did have that, but I think a lot of the ones that we had on stage, we actually contacted them, and it was a very difficult process. It wasn't easy. So what we did first was outline what are all the areas that are most impacted right now, which areas are most marginalized, which areas do we need to 100% address. So we kind of did it more based on areas, and then finding the best community people within San Francisco or Bay Area to kind of talk to that, right? Because we don't want to, we're not reinventing anything. There's all these amazing organizations that have been doing this for a long time that we want to highlight. We want to make sure that those speakers are heard. My personal thought, and I know a lot of people in the Women's March San Francisco team kind of feel similar, is we would rather have community members, community leaders, than like big names. Because to me, they're the ones that are doing the work and not getting acknowledged. When somebody like an actor or an actress or a musician, not to say that their word means any less, but they have so many opportunities and so many platforms,
right,
that should be using those opportunities and platforms to always help others, right? Especially help people in the community that made them who they are. But for something like the Women's March, at least for the San Francisco team, we are more about how can we help the organizations within our communities in the Bay Area? How can we help promote them, bring them up, and get people to start looking locally and working with those organizations and helping them, right? A lot of these organizations are nonprofit, a majority of them, right? Especially the community organizations, whether they have a nonprofit status or not. So they're really always relying on the community and the generosity of the community to continue doing the work that they do.
Yeah. And I do want to speak to, I mean, again, all of the speakers were amazing in their own right, but Amy Allison, I mean, Jesus.
Oh, I love her.
Yeah, what is she running for? I'm in.
It's funny because right before I went on stage, I was like, she kind of took me to the side because she saw I was a little nervous. I was like, I've never done this. I don't know. And she's like, she just kind of took me to the side and gave me a little pep talk, which really helped actually. It was, and when she was just talking to me, I'm like, how cool is this, man? You're giving me a pep talk, and like I highly admire her. So I was very, very excited. And let me tell you a story about how we met Amy Allison. It was actually Martha and myself in Detroit. So we met her at Women's Convention while we were waiting in line to the bathroom.
What? Yes.
That is an excellent bonding moment, by the way.
Yeah. Like, really? Did you have to tell that story? But no, for real.
Yes,
we were just talking.
It was meant to be.
Line.
Yeah, of course it was. When is it not a long line?
Well, and it was the women's convention in
right,
Detroit.
yeah.
It was even right. So we were just talking to a lot of people in line. Oh, where are you from? Where are you from? And then she's like, Oakland. I'm like, whoa, we're San Francisco. And then when she gave us her card, both me and Martha and I believe Anna, which is another lead, was with us. We just got super excited. We're like, hi. We're like, we're so going to be messaging you. We're so
and this was her card for she's the president of Democracy in Color, right? So is that the card that you saw? Okay, so you're like, oh my God, perfect light bulb.
we're like we've been wanting, not necessarily just to that organization, but we've been really wanting to connect with as many organizations that are helping women of color, especially for office, because that is an area that there's not a lot of, right? There's not a lot of women in color in politics. And for a lot of these issues to be addressed, they need to be at the table. They need to be in the Senate. They need to be in Congress. And also, of course, locally, right? We always have to start locally when thinking about a lot of those changes. So we were completely excited when we met her, and then we've been kind of trying to keep in contact, but we did put it in her ear that, hey, we're planning another march. We're going to be contacting you. So when she said yes, we were super, super excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, she should have flown away like with a cape on. That was the only thing missing from her speech. I was just like, mic drop. Wow. Really powerful. And you.
Yeah, Sophia, come on.
Yeah,
I can't believe you were. Go ahead.
No, we could not tell you were nervous. Well, first of all, thank you. Sophia got us press passes, so
that was magical.
Which was it was so special to experience it just right up front like that. But we got to see you up close, and you did not look nervous. You were so strong on stage. It didn't seem like it was your first time at all.
Thank you.
No, we were proud of you.
That means a lot. Coming from you too, that really does mean a lot. Thank you very much.
Oh, of course. I mean, I was nervous about the turnout. I was like, man, I had a lot of people in my camp, women especially, that went last year, and were like, well, I don't know if I'm going to go this year.
And when we got there, it was quiet.
Yeah,
it was
when we got there,
around 11, 10 or something like that. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it was almost like all the buses came at once or something.
Yeah.
Like all the BART trains stopped, and then it was just like a river of people that showed up. Were you surprised?
Yeah,
was it what you wanted?
At one point, we were kind of looking like around like 11:30 as well. I was like, well, this is a good turnout, but I was expecting more than that, right? And it was the same thing, like, taking like 15, 20 minutes. And then I looked again. I was like, whoa, where'd you all come from? It was the same.
Yeah.
And not just that. So when the march started, the speakers were still going. We had to start early because of how crowded market was getting. So it was getting hard for us to keep moving. So we had to start like about 10 minutes earlier than scheduled with the march. So we were marching. There was a long line and there was still a lot of people in the rally. And when we in the front, or when the trolley hit the trolley, which was in the beginning, hit Embarcadero, they were still all the way at Civic Center. People still funneling into market. So we were trying to get estimates. A lot of the numbers that we have been getting from different sources has been 80 to 90,000. So we definitely hit more than I was expecting.
Yeah.
I was expecting 50. So we definitely hit a lot more. We didn't hit as many as last year. I think last year we had a little over 110,000. But I'm still extremely, extremely happy with the amount of people that came. But again, numbers are great, and it looks great. It definitely looks great, especially for the media. But
I mean, come on, those aerial shots were
they were gorgeous. That was it. But I think for me personally, and for the team, I think for all the leadership, all the work that we do, I hope that people really took in the messaging and the action that we were asking people, because it's all great if you show up one day a year. Actually, it's not great if you only show up one day a year, right?
Right.
Like you need to actually, continue to resist and organize and just keep on helping your community, right? It's not just about showing up one day, patting yourself on the back, saying, "Oh, I showed up, I came to the rally, I marched," and put a check mark that I accomplished something, right? I mean, we love that people came out, but the whole idea of coming out was to hear these amazing, incredible women leaders and to take something from there, and then to be motivated to do something yourself, and to make sure you're stepping up for other people within the community and having your voice heard, right? A lot of times it's uncomfortable conversation where, sometimes you might hear something and you're like, oh, I don't want to jump in, but you should jump in if you're hearing somebody being racist or sexist, or homophobic or Islamophobic. And we're hoping that that's what people really took in, is they need to get involved politically, they need to register to vote, and they need to vote. Those are very important. And I hope we convinced some women out there that they can run for office. And hopefully that, the young women out there, hopefully the speakers motivated them to be like, oh, this is something that I can definitely do. Maybe they didn't think about it before, but hopefully at least that little spot went into their head just as a possibility, right? That's how it's
right. Yeah, that was the point. And I wanted to talk really quickly, well, not even really quickly, as long as you want to, about next steps for Women's March Bay Area and what you have planned for the rest of the year. I know you do have an upcoming event, if you wanted to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we do have an upcoming event at the JCC, the Jewish Center of San Francisco, Jewish Community Center of San Francisco, sorry. And that one is our panel on racial justice. And that's going to be on January 30th. And it starts at 7 p.m. And what we've been doing with the JCC, we've kind of had different panels throughout the year that started in 2017 after the first march. We had a panel for women's rights. We had a panel for environmental justice. We had a panel for disability rights. And this is kind of the final one that we're at least doing at the JCC, part of this panel series. And originally we were going to have it before the march, but we thought it made more sense to do it after the march when people are energized and looking for what can I do. And this is such an important, huge subject about racial justice and about a lot of racial inequality that we still have to this day in this country that needs to be addressed, and how, as allies, how we can help kind of minimize it and eliminate it, right? I mean, the goal is to eliminate racial prejudice in this country so that everybody is truly equal, because that's not the case right now. And we had some of the speakers definitely highlight those issues on Saturday. So the panel is a little bit more on the intimate level where, you know, it's kind of just questions asked, and then people can, you know, ask questions from the audience, and we can provide resources on how individuals can be better allies. I think a lot of times within racial justice and inequality, you know, we don't know sometimes how to step in and how to help. So hopefully this will provide some of those resources and answer some questions that people might have, and, you know, ask some questions that you might have as well. So hopefully we'll have people join us for that.
Yeah, and I want to make sure people know you can get, or do you register or buy tickets, or it's a little bit of both?
It's register, yeah.
www.jccsf.org.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, we do have, I can definitely send you the link. The JCC does want people to register through, I think they have a link through their own website.
Okay.
It's definitely important to do that just so they know the number of people. I feel like this one is going to be big, so we're trying to ensure that we have spacing for it.
Okay, yeah. If we can make it, we'll be there.
Heck yeah.
Absolutely.
We're your new stalkers, Sophia. You're welcome.
We're your cheering squad.
You guys were amazing. I'm so glad I was super excited when I got to see you on Saturday. I was like, yay, they came.
Yeah, we were sitting right in the middle because you were saying before you went on stage, like, okay, I'm going to look for you guys so I'm not nervous. So I don't know if you noticed, but we were sitting right in the middle. Maybe you got a little distracted by the other tens of thousands of people, but
I think it was a mixture of I was exhausted to be honest. We were there, me and another lead, Anna. We were there as a little before 7 a.m. We had a couple of news interviews in the morning, and then from that point, just running around and for the stage setup and everything else. So I was like, I didn't even get a chance to like even think about me going on stage. So I think that slightly helped it, because it was just
probably,
right.
It was just like, okay, you just gotta do it. And then when I was up there, I couldn't see anyone. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, no, it all looks like one big blur, because we got to go on stage too before it started, and it's just all one big blob. It's crazy. It's hard to focus in on one thing.
It was extremely difficult to focus on one thing. So I was happy that I didn't freeze. Let's put it that way. So I was at least happy that I was able to do something that honestly last year there's no way I would have been able to do. So that's one.
Oh no, you were.
That's a growth.
You were a natural
very
up there.
Excited about that. Thank you. That's very kind.
Yeah. No. You went up there. It was like, yeah, which I felt good about. You know, like
yeah,
you felt it.
It was fierce. Well, and you were standing next to Alex, right? Your friend, and
Alex. Yeah.
That was another powerful speech.
Well, yeah.
That was just...
Alex Ewing is always. They are always great at speeches. That's never been an issue for them.
Getting the crowd riled up. Yeah,
they're good at that. That's for sure. But yeah, so hopefully you guys come out on January 30th. As of right now, we don't have anything 100% scheduled after January 30th, only because we've been slightly busy just creating a march.
Well, yeah.
Well, it's been 3 days since the rally, and you still haven't gotten it together. I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
I was in bed all of Sunday, like no joke on that one. But yeah, we definitely, I think I'm giving the team, you know, a couple of people have like messaged, hey, like you need help with anything. I was like, hold on, just relax for a week.
I know. People
Just trying to breathe
People
here.
are fired up, so it's like if they don't ask now, maybe they'll forget or something. That's like me. If I don't do it now, I'm gonna forget in 5 minutes.
No, completely. So I'm like saving all of those like emails, and we had a couple of volunteers that say that they want to be involved in the actual team for Women's March San Francisco. That's super exciting. So we definitely, I mean, we're still a group, and we are working on nonprofit status as well. So we will continue. The idea with programming, I know we have to get with the leadership team and including the programming team. You know, what I would like to do is more workshop based, and one of them being around women in politics and how to run, and bringing in those organizations that are doing it so that people know that, okay, I can go to this organization if I want to run for office or if I want to find out more information. There's, you know, I think I've mentioned this one before, Ignite, which is for the youth. I would definitely love for it to be not just for young women, but women of all ages and how they can get involved politically. So that's a workshop we definitely want to work on. I know we'd like to also do something around homelessness. I mean, there are definitely a lot of issues that are impacting San Francisco that we need to address. So that's something we're going to look at is, okay, what is the best use of our time, because we are all volunteers, to ensure, okay, what is the best thing we can bring the community? How can we help these other organizations? Stay with us. And then hopefully you guys, you know, when we do have something a little bit more concrete, then we can do this again if you'll have me again, that is.
Of course.
Anytime. Yes, please.
Well, I do have your cell number and your personal email, so
I'm not going anywhere, right?
Me neither. But thank you so much for joining us and giving us a recap and talking about your future event. I'll mention it in our outro officially to remind people how to register. But feel better, please.
Yes,
and
take care of yourself. Give yourself some time, please.
Yeah,
I promise. Thank you so much for having me again.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for being on Bitch Talk. We'll see you soon.
Absolutely. Take care.
That was our new best friend, Sophia Andary from Women's March Bay Area.
Even when she's sick, she's still inspirational.
Yeah. It was one of those things where I'm like, I'm going to ask her to be back on. I don't know if it's too soon, but I thought it'd be cool to have a recap. And her people were like, well, she's sick, but we'll see what she says. And she was totally into it. And we sent her a little link to record from. And
she didn't sound sick at all.
No, she's a good sport. And we really support her and Women's March Bay Area, and the turnout was fantastic over the weekend. It couldn't have been any better. I mean, it could have, but it was fantastic.
Yeah, and the feeling was good. It wasn't tons of families. I love the little kids with signs. That's always going to be my favorite. But yeah, it was really good energy. People are riled up.
Always good signs. And yeah, we talked about it a lot in our basic bitch, so you'll have to go back and listen to that. But just to remind you guys, Women's March San Francisco programming continues Tuesday, January 30th, 7 to 8 p.m. at the Jewish Community Center of San Francisco. They are going to have a panel, and it's going to deal with racial discrimination in America. So you can register for that panel at JCCSF.org. I'll put that on the Facebook page, and hope to see you there.
Bitch, please.